Good evening, paranormal community, and thank you for partaking here in the Odyssey Files. I am your host, Michael O'Neill. With me, as always, is my co-host, Mr. David Sorey. Good evening, Dave.
Good evening, Mike. It is difficult to be here on a 78-degree and sunny Sunday evening.
No, it's not.
Except for my love for the paranormal and my love for the show and racing home today. Otherwise, I could easily be sitting out looking at the lake right now, enjoying and just like chilling and relaxing. But
you were about to say and enjoying myself, which
I was going to say enjoying myself, but I am enjoying myself here too. So I caught myself saying that because I enjoy the show. Otherwise, obviously, we wouldn't be here doing the show.
And we have an amazing guest here for the second hour.
We do.
Our good friend, Mr. Kenneth Boggle, master of the tarot, will be joining us. He has a special announcement, which he is going to be using our show to do, as he should.
As he should. As everybody should.
Yes,
for everybody who's listening, if you have a special announcement, this is the place to announce it.
That's right. That's right. And then he is actually going to be giving myself and Dave a one-question tarot reading here live on the air. So greatly looking forward to that. But first, we have stories.
We do have stories.
And I don't particularly have anything riveting to say beforehand. Like
nothing. So nothing going on with the team, nothing new. You're not doing any you got any events coming up, anything like that?
Well, we do actually.
Oh, you do actually, right? Because you've got your 2-night thing that you were telling me about.
Yes. So
in a secret location.
It is two secret locations.
2 secret locations, yeah.
So my team and I have 2 cemeteries that we absolutely love going to, and we have gotten
amazing results.
Amazing results at both places. And so we have
first place I ever took you.
That is true. Actually, 2 of them were 2 of the first 3 investigations.
Yeah, 2 of the first 3.
Yep. 2 of the first 3 were at these 2 places. Yep. And then there was a decade-long gap in between those 2. And then, now
and then we got kind of on a roll. Yeah.
And now, now I'm in your place and I'm bringing my team.
Absolutely. As it should be, because these are like legacy locations. Honestly,
they really are.
Treat them with respect, and the entities that are there for whatever reason they're there. And I know there's that huge debate about there's nothing in cemeteries, but you know what? These cemeteries are active. They're quiet. They're great private locations. And for whatever reason they're there, the entities that are there participate in conversation.
That's right.
And they're happy to see you. I've never ever felt unwelcome. And I've been to the one location, if not 100 times, pretty damn close.
So June 9th and 10th, which is a Friday and Saturday.
Yep.
My team is taking 8 people. We're splitting them up, splitting up the team, splitting up the people. So half the team is going to go to one location. The other half is going to go to the other location. We're going to do simultaneous investigations at these locations. And then the next night we're going to switch.
Yep.
And like I said, just 8 people allowed to go, $30. And that's the whole weekend. So yeah, it's going to be an amazing time. And you pretty much just have to reach out to me to let me know that you would like to be on the guest list. And yeah, first come, first serve for the 8 people. But obviously here in the cities, so nobody, when I posted the kind of the announcement of it on Facebook, some guy from Ohio asked me what the money was for. And then I had another person from Iowa ask me what cemetery. And I'm just like, why? What? Like, I appreciate people supporting the team from all over.
Yeah.
But I mean, there comes a time when you're not going to go.
Right. Unless you're road tripping in from Ohio. Iowa, possibly.
I agree.
It's not that far away. And especially where in Iowa would depend on. I mean, you could be right on the border and only be a couple hour drive to get up here. So,
yeah.
But Ohio, that's a trek.
Yeah. Clear Lake, Mason City. I mean, it's probably 2.5 hours, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I get the Iowa thing a little bit, but yeah, nobody gets to know where the cemeteries are until they're actually part of the guest list. You know, the final you know details of the event and stuff like that. But and I'm still, even then, might hold it until we're actually all together as a group and be like, this is where we're going.
And we do, and like we talked about while I was over at your place here for a few days, it's out of respect for the location. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, these locations are so special to the people that have been there that, and if you go, you'll understand why. Like, you know, the feeling you get, the welcoming feeling you get, the evidence you'll get, the conversations you'll have with entities, you'll understand why they're kind of private locations and not wanting to send masses of people there to possibly do something ignorant, for lack of a different term.
I guess that you're trying to be polite,
politically correct, or polite, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah,
polite. You're trying to be professional.
Yes,
and the simple, don't screw it up. Like
exactly.
like I would say,
the F-bomb would be coming out. That's how passionate I am about the one.
Exactly.
So.
All right.
Okay.
And then the only other thing that I would say is the team recently had an investigation of the Wabasha Street Caves.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a reveal for them scheduled here in a couple weeks. And I'm really looking forward to not only getting their opinions on that, but then taking that and posting everything publicly of what the evidence is, and hoping that will lead to more things for people to join us at the Wabasha Street Caves, because
cool location.
It is an amazing location.
Yeah, a lot of history there, a lot of, you know, and weddings happen there now, and you know, all kinds of like dances happen there, and then they also do the like, if they're still doing the flashlight tours or candlelight tours for like the haunted history of it. And
yeah, in fact, Cameron told me yesterday that her old school had their prom this weekend at the Wabasha Street Caves. So
I believe it. It's a popular location.
Absolutely. So with that said, segueing,
we're jumping into demons.
Yeah.
We're segueing from the Wabasha Street Caves into Yellowknife demons for the second week in a row.
Yeah, whatever. We'll see how I respond to this.
Exactly. It's your question. So,
okay, here we go. Story number 1. Me and my partner were in bed sleeping when I awoke with a start feeling uneasy. I sat up in bed, seeing a black shadow around the height of a child pacing back and forth at the bottom of the bed. It had its hands out in front of it with bent elbows, and the silhouette of its hands looked larger compared to the rest of its body, which appeared to be small and child-sized. The end of its fingers were pointed and sharp-looking, like claws. My boyfriend was fast asleep next to me, groaning and twitching and kicking a lot like he was having a nightmare. I was frozen in fear and just about managed to say my partner's name quietly. He didn't wake up, but the creature suddenly stopped pacing and turned to face me and froze as if startled. Its eyes were bright yellow, and the shadow quickly faded away into nothing, its eyes the last to disappear. I shoved my partner to wake him, and he was grateful I had woken him, saying he was having a nightmare about a shadow creature sitting on his chest with its claws pinning him down, and he couldn't get free. I asked if what he saw had bright yellow eyes. He said, yes. How did you know? And that's when I told him I saw it too and explained what had just happened. I have no idea what it was, but I think it was feeding on my boyfriend's fear, and I interrupted it. It seemed surprised that I could see it. I have experienced a lot of spooky things in my life, although more ghostly stuff rather than anything evil like this clearly was. So I wondered if maybe I'm more sensitive to stuff. Anyway, it's not appeared since then, thankfully. I tried to Google its description, but didn't find anything useful. Had I not seen it as well, I would have assumed it was a sleep paralysis event, as I used to suffer from this a lot. in my early teens, although I used to see a tall hag type thing, not this creature. Classic
Mm-hmm.
sleep paralysis right there.
Mm-hmm.
However, we both saw it and I wasn't even sleeping, so I know this is something paranormal and there is an irrational explanation. What do you think it was? Are we safe? So, this is interesting to me because yes, there's been the black figure that's seen with the yellow eyes, blah blah blah. We all know it. Is it a demon? I know Dave thinks it is. Uh, I guess I'm not particularly 100% on the yellow eye demon train, although I am more willing to go that direction when it comes to things like this. The thing that makes me pause is the fact that it was like the size of a child. Because usually it's this tall, hunkering, 6 foot tall, blah, 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 hovering over them. I mean, it almost seemed like this entity was like anxious, like it didn't really know what to do. And, uh, you know, maybe this is like a karate thing. Like as they get higher in the demon, their eyes changed. And
He's
this
on
demon,
on his brown belt or yellow belt or whatever,
exactly. So
working his way to the black belt.
there's white belt, so you
Yep.
have white eyes.
Yep.
And now then the next belt is yellow belt. And that's their eyes. maybe it's their level of experience.
Maybe.
But that threw me for a little bit of a loop. Was just the size of it and the fact that it really wasn't paying much attention to them until obviously it heard him mouth his partner's name, and then it turned, and then instead of attacking or doing something, it was kind of like, oh shit, and disappeared. Which again, you would not expect from a demonic entity.
Mm-hmm.
Not doing that sort of thing. They have this playbook that seems to go over and pacing back and forth and then disappearing really when kind of startled just doesn't seem to be it. But obviously the partner was having the nightmare. So, I mean, was it picking up on the energy? There's so many different variables here that I have not seen in many stories, in many claims. The pacing, the small child, the fact that this person was having a nightmare about the entity sitting on his chest and had claws and stuff, but it wasn't really happening. I honestly don't know where to go with this. I honestly don't think it was a demon, unless it was, like I said, it was like a brand new demon, a rookie demon,
baby demon.
A baby demon that didn't really know what it was doing.
Yeah.
And
it's its first solo run right there.
Yeah. So it just got off the training wheels.
Yeah.
On its first solo mission to screw some people up and take their souls.
And freaked out and ran away.
Freaked out. So, I mean, I know I'm making light of this. It's obviously a very troubling encounter for you and your partner. But because it hasn't been seen since, I would say, at least for now, you are safe. But if it does come back, or you guys start having certain experiences like you just went through, then I would definitely reach out to a reputable team, a medium, somebody to that would be able to help you far more, obviously, than Dave and I can.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I am going straight to some type of sleep demon, like some type of nightmare demon. I don't think, to me, there's just multi-levels of demonic entities. They're not all 7 foot tall hulking beasts that stand in the corner or in the attic or come flying out of your closet. This could have obviously been some type of nightmare demon or, nightmare entity. I use the word demon here loosely, so bear with me. Do I think it's like a demonic entity straight from hell and Satan himself? No, because if it was, when she saw him, I think it would have attacked. Do I think that it was some type of nightmare type of causing entity? Yeah, I do, because I think her description is really is pretty damn accurate. Like, she was very descriptive in exactly what she saw. She knew she wasn't asleep. She's had experiences in the past with sleep paralysis. She understands what that's like. She understands the hag theory because she's experienced it multiple times. So to me, she's probably beyond what I would consider to be a first timer or a rookie type of experiencer. She's obviously had prior experiences. So that said, I think that the way she described it, the way that what she saw when she woke him up and asked, "Are you okay?" and him saying, "Yeah, I saw this thing and it had these claws and it had yellow eyes." It's too, I can't dismiss that. I think that what was affecting him was what had materialized in the room for whatever reason. Now, why it was pacing at the end of the bed, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. Possibly it was there, maybe unbeknownst to us. It doesn't need to actually physically be sitting on our chest. Maybe it could just be in the room, in close proximity to you, and cause that type of fear, cause that type of sensation, visualization as you're sleeping. I don't know. But do I think it really happened? Absolutely, I do. I think that she even went to the length of trying to Google it and trying to figure out what the heck it might be and throwing in a description, and really didn't find anything useful. Instead of saying, "I went to Google and man, it's a demon. It's 100% a demon," right? She didn't say that. She said, "I went to Google and I typed in what the description of what I thought I saw and what I witnessed and what we experienced, and I didn't find anything really useful." That solidifies to me that they had a legitimate experience and they're kind of confused by what's going on. What do I think it was? I already answered that. Are we safe? It's a coin flip. I mean, honestly, I don't know. Why did it come to you in the first place? Why did it come to your partner in the first place? Is there a reason why it was attracted to him? If it was attracted to him once and nothing has changed, then are you safe? No, you're not safe. Because if it saw him and was attracted to him and came to him to get what it needed one time, it's going to come back, unless what it saw somehow you can recognize and change within yourself and get rid of whatever that attractant is. So are you safe? But that's a tough question, but I'm going to say if nothing changed with your partner, then I'm going to say no. And I think that another visitation is probably going to happen. I think that this thing is going to come back. If it does, hopefully it won't be any worse than a nightmare. I hope that it's nothing worse than a nightmare. I hope it doesn't feel like it ran away, like you were saying, like it ran away the first time because it freaked out that she saw it. And now that it kind of regrouped and got angry that it didn't do the right thing, and now it's going to come back with a little bit more aggressive type of alpha male or whatever, probably not alpha male over there, but alpha male in our existence type of mentality. And if it does, then no, you're not safe. I wish I had a better answer for you, but I don't. I think that it's probably going to come back. And if it does, hopefully it runs away again. And hopefully you can figure out why it's there or why it's coming to you and what coming to your partner and why it's attracted to your partner. So maybe make a couple of changes in your life and hopefully that'll fix things. I know a lot of times just a simple change can make a huge difference in what happens in our lives. So, okay. Number 2, should I be worried? My son is 2.5 years old. He's very smart for his age and talks regularly, although a lot of it is hard to understand. Recently, I've caught him standing at the lighted end of our back hallway, carrying on conversations towards the dark end of the hallway. He is talking and hand gesturing like he normally does in any conversation. When I ask him who he's talking to, he tells me he's talking to the ghost. He knows what a ghost is from last Halloween and has occasionally mentioned monsters and pumpkins since then. When asked if it was a man or a girl, he says a man. This has happened 3 to 4 times in the past couple of weeks. The other night, we were all lying in bed as he sleeps with us, and a random noise happened that occasionally happens in these older houses. He crawls to the edge of the bed, leans over, looking towards the floor, and says, "Is the ghost coming out?" Generally, it was cute and the first time, but it is starting to kind of freak us out. I know kids can sense things we can't, and maybe it is his overactive imagination. What should I do? Okay, this is an absolutely great question for me. What should I do? You should 100% believe that your son is having some type of conversation with an entity in your house, because he probably is. I'm going to say 98% that he's probably sees something and is having some kind of conversation, because if he's smart and gifted and talking regularly at 2.5 years old, he is ahead of the learning curve, and something has caught his attention. Something on the other side has noticed him. Let's put it that way. Now, the question is, what has noticed him, and is it bad, or is it just a grandparent that's passed away, and the grandparent wants to be part of his life, and he understands that this kid is gifted and that he can have a conversation with him? In that situation, why would you be worried? There's nothing to be worried about. Does it freak you out if you're worried about ghosts, or you're totally freaked out about spirits, or you don't believe in afterlife? Okay, I could understand that. But the afterlife exists. So if you don't believe in it, you might as well start. It's there. We've proven it over and over and over and over again. It's never going to exist in a scientific type of situation where you can go into a closed room and have your double blind theory going and all that other crap that everybody's going to tell you that you got to have in order for it to be real. We have documented, we have witnessed, we have been part of so many paranormal events and so many things that have happened in our lives. There's absolutely no way that you could tell me that there's not something beyond our existence and what we're standing here right now doing. So something is caught, something sees your son and is interested in him because he's gifted. Don't take the dark end of the hallway as being something dark and evil. Don't do that. That's something out of a movie. That's just crap. It doesn't matter that, put a nightlight at the other end of the hallway if that's what you think. And he's still going to have conversations down at the end of that hallway, because whatever it is just is comfortable being down there for whatever reason. It's not going to matter if it's dark or if there's a nightlight or whatever. Who's he talking to? It's a ghost. It is a ghost, because a 2.5-year-old kid, that's all he understands. It's not a real person. It's not somebody who lives in your house. It's not mom and dad. So of course it's a ghost. The frequency here is what really gets me. It's happened 3 to 4 times in the past couple of weeks. Well, that's twice a week if you really break down those numbers. So if it happens 4 times in 2 weeks, that's twice a week, 2 weeks in a row. I don't know how you dismiss that. The worst thing you could do as parents is dismiss this and not give it the attention it deserves. The best thing you could do is get your 2.5-year-old out of bed with you, because your 2.5-year-old shouldn't be sleeping in bed with you. He should have his own room, unless the situation financially doesn't afford that. Then I retract that statement. But if he's sleeping with you and you have another room that's his room that just isn't being used because he doesn't want to sleep in there, you need to find out why he doesn't want to sleep in there. You need to address that situation, and you need to resolve that situation so he can sleep in his room comfortably. As far as you thinking it was cute the first time, now it's freaking you out, I can understand that. I don't think it's over imagination. And I think that you need to talk to your son. I think you need to get a good description of what he's seeing. I think you need to match it up. Is it somebody that you recognize? If he gives you a description of what this person looks like, can you put a picture together, or can you pull out a photo album from the family and find a grandparent or a great uncle or an aunt, or it's a male, so uncle or a grandpa or a friend of the family, whatever, that has passed away that you have a photo of? Don't say anything to him, but have the photo in the album. Have him look through the pictures. If he stops at the picture, it's going to be pretty hard to dismiss that. that that's not what he's seeing, especially without you prodding him towards that picture. So I think go with what's happening with your son. I don't think you need to be scared. I don't think it's anything evil. Nothing's happened except for him talking and having a conversation. And I think that something's there, like I said, because he's a gifted kid.
So I have to take a little different approach to this one. However, before I do that, I want to say everything that you said about, the whole parenting and not dismissing it and whatnot, 100% agree with you on that. Just because in this one particular instance, I'm taking a little bit of different of a stand doesn't mean that I do not support what you just said. To just want to put that out there that I'm not saying that everything Dave just said is crap, because it's not.
It's not right.
It's great parental advice in general. And it definitely could be the case in this one. I just don't think that it is, only because, yes, he's 2.5 years old and he's smart for his age, but he's also very impressionable. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he knows at 2.5 years old what a ghost is, and the fact that he learned it last Halloween, makes me question and throw out there the question of, how does he know? Did you watch a bunch of scary movies with him? Did you watch The Shining, where the kid turns the corner and talks to spirits? And did you watch paranormal television, like a Haunting or Paranormal Survivor? Did he see a bunch of shows that deal with ghosts where kids were involved, where they talked to spirits, and where parents paid attention to these kids? I just, the fact that, he just stands at the lighted end of the hall and talks to, whatever, and just says it's a man and that's it. And the fact that he says, is the ghost coming out? I've never heard a story where the kid is like, is the ghost coming out? It's usually my friend, or is the bloody man, or, he has some sort of specific name,
right,
or nickname, or whatever you want to call him, more than the ghost. And so the fact that he knows that it's a ghost and calls it the ghost just almost makes me think that he really is just making it up, to try and get that attention, because he thinks it's cool. Again, I was actually going to throw this out there, so I'm really glad that you did. But I was also going to say, get more details, and then show them photos, and don't tell them why. Just be like, hey, why don't you look through the album with me, and blah 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 blah. Like, do you know who this person is? Do you know who this person is? This is your great, and see if he reacts to any of those photos.
I mean, if you're flipping through a family photo album and you get to a page and that kid like jumps off the couch, off your lap, and puts his finger on a photograph of a man and says ghost, then that's pretty much a ringer. Because exactly. Then he is really seeing, like, whoever that person might be is coming to visit him.
Yeah. And I mean, and I completely agree with you. Nobody's in any danger. No. If this kid was, attracting, some evil entity, it would be doing more stuff to get it riled up. It'd be asking him to do stuff he really shouldn't do. The toys would be going on. There's a playbook.
There'd be a lot of stuff. Yeah, it'd be a lot more stuff happening. Yeah.
It'd be a lot more than I'm having a conversation with somebody at the end of a hallway.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's a house noise and he's like, is the ghost coming out? That to me, again, shows me that he's been predisposed. Oh, there's a knock that we don't know about. Ghost.
I can see that. I can see that. If he, hopefully at 2.5 years old, his parents haven't plastered him with paranormal stuff, but I could see a water pipe banging. And if he saw something on TV where there was a bang on the wall and everybody freaked out, like they do in paranormal TV, I could see him I can see exactly where you're coming from with that.
Yeah.
And is the ghost coming out because he heard that noise and he associates that noise with something is going to happen.
With something paranormal.
Right.
Yeah.
Something paranormal is going to happen. I'm going to get on top of it.
I'm right there at the end of the bed. Get ready, people. There's something going to happen.
She didn't say my husband and I went to the edge of the bed and looked over. His 2.5-year-old kid went to the edge of the bed and looked over. So the kids got more guts than the parents do in this situation. And I don't mean that in a bad way at all. I'm just saying, that your kid is going to be a great paranormal researcher one day. That's what I'm saying. He's already in like the top 50% to 2.5 years old. So I mean, give this kid a little more time, and he's going to be, a top. He's going to be like a 2%er.
He's the future Tiger Woods of the paranormal field.
He possibly could be. Till the Hat Man shows up.
We'll see. Yep. All right, number 3. I experience something paranormal when I read certain things. Basically, I'm reading a book called Project Demon Hunters by Christine Pope. I already don't like it, but that's okay. The thing is, whenever I read it, I experience something paranormal. The first time it was little bangs that kept getting closer to me, and now recently it's worse. I get pulled in my sleep and hear something whisper right in my ear. I also find the same thing happens on the days I learn an ancient language. So my question is, can certain texts like books cause paranormal activity? Like I've heard countless times not to own or play with a Ouija board, but this is so strange. What's going on? I think you're freaking yourself out is what I think you're doing. Mm-hmm. I cannot tell you how many times people have either watched horror movies or just talked about watching horror movies, and they won't do it because as soon as they are, every little thing that happens is paranormal. Like, I have to sleep with the light on because the house will make a noise, and oh my God, it's a demon because I watched Paranormal Activity. It's that sort of thing. You're reading the book Project Demon Hunter, so obviously it's talking about demons. I'm sure it probably has stories about demonic infestations and possessions and all this other stuff. And then all of a sudden you're hearing knocks. Well, I think your brain is bringing them closer to you. Like you're noticing it because you're looking for it. And I don't know a single person in the world who suddenly says, until that day when I learned an ancient language. What the hell does that even mean? What are we talking about? Mayan? Are we talking about Egyptian? What's the angel language? Starts with an A. I want to say like innocuous, but that's not it.
No. Yeah, no.
It's something along those lines. Anyway.
Yeah. It'll come to us in the next 5 minutes. It always happens that way. We'll address it right before we're introducing Ken. We'll be like, that was it.
That's the word.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't think anything paranormal is actually happening to you. I think you're freaking yourself out, and it happens. I want to say there's nothing to be ashamed of, but you should be ashamed of that. That's just coming from me. Okay. If you're that freaked out, maybe you shouldn't be doing this. Just throwing that out there. I would really like to know what this ancient language you suddenly learned in a day. If you're learning Latin and reading a spell book, then yeah, you're probably doing some shit you probably shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, that might not be a wise move. Yeah.
Enochian, maybe. Is that it? Enochian?
That's close. Yeah.
That's close.
That's very close. Yep.
Thank you, Julie. Appreciate it. See, our supporters of the show are amazing people.
Absolutely.
Because they can Google what we can't during the show. Anyway. So I don't have anything really more to say. I don't think anything paranormal is actually happening to you. I think that you're freaking yourself out, and no, watching TV shows, reading texts, or reading just books that people have put out will not cause paranormal activity unless you are literally reading a spell book on how to conjure spirits. If you're doing that, then yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, or something like the demonic Bible. Or yeah, right, or a witch's book. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be reading some shit that you don't understand what it's like or understand what it is that you're reading and you're just fumbling your way through it. That's just put it down.
Agreed.
Honestly.
So that's my answer to that one.
Okay. So this is going to be one of those rare moments when the universes converge. I agree with Mike 99%.
Never 100.
Never 100. But I'm just gonna I'm doing this respectfully, but I'm gonna throw this out there. So the Project Demon Hunters Paranormal Romance series is what you might get if you mashed the X-Files and the Conjuring movies together, then threw in secrets, lies, a dollop of unresolved sexual tension, and scenes that'll make you think twice about reading in the house alone. Dun, dun, dun. So I know we're giving a ton of free advertising to Christine Pope. So Christine, if you happen to be listening to the show, congratulations. Seems like you're a very accomplished author. So not only has she written the whole volume of the Project Demon Hunters Paranormal Experience, she also has The Witches of Cleopatra Hill, which is 11 works, Tales of Latter Kingdoms, which is 9 books, The Djinn Wars, which is 11 books, The Gaian Consortium, which is 7 books, and Hedge Witch for Hire, The Witch Projects, which she has 5 books. So she's obviously a well-established writer. So what's happening here? You are getting involved. You're romancing this author's books. That's exactly what's happening here. You are projecting yourself into what you're reading. And then something happens and you're trying to associate what is happening in the books, maybe kind of thinking that you were wishing it was happening in your life. And so you hear these things and you want them to be a certain thing. You want there to be a ghost. You want those little bangs getting closer to you to be some romantic ghost. It kind of takes me back to the lady that we had talked about that had made the news a while back, where she was going to marry the ghost, and they were talking about like who was invited on the wedding list, like the guest list, and that Elvis was coming and Marilyn Monroe was coming, but they weren't bringing this person because they didn't want to have him try and take over the show. And they weren't bringing, like the Shakespearean actor because he's just a braggart, and they didn't want to lose 45 minutes of him doing his thing. This kind of all falls back into that for me. I don't think anything is happening to you. I don't think there's anything paranormal going on. And I agree with Mike. On the days that you're learning an ancient language, I would need more context for that. Because I don't know anybody who's pulling up Aramaic context and reading ancient context of like the Aramaic language or ancient Babylonian language or any of these languages that are no longer exist. I don't know anybody who's doing that except for like theologians and people that are looking like that's what they do for a living, and so they're going in depth because they're historians. They're trying to decipher these books and make it so that we can kind of understand what these people in ancient times were talking about. So honestly, I don't think you're experiencing anything paranormal. I think it's all in your mind.
I just, before we go on to the next story, I just want to say something really quick.
Yep.
Because it was kind of a little bit of a surprise to me too. So as you were reading off the list of the list of all the books, I thought that I was just taking it all in stride, and until I looked at my face in the show and saw a humongous frown. And so I just want to say to the author of all those books, your writings make me sad.
Oh,
That's all.
did you read them all or something?
No,
Are
just
you
the
like
title.
a secret Christine Pope? Like,
Just the titles
oh, okay,
were enough to make me sad.
to make you sad. Okay,
Apparently, naturally too, because I didn't even know I was frowning.
well,
I just thought I had a poker face like I always do, but nope, it was just like
well,
I just had a big frown on my face.
well, we'll turn that frown upside down, buddy.
Now that we're done with that question, I will.
All right, are we good to move on to number
Yes,
4?
yes, sir.
Okay. Has anyone else experienced this particular figure? When I was 20 years old, I'm 40 now, I had a lot of paranormal experiences, both physical, visual, and audible. Some were attached to my apartment or my house. They call it their flat. Some were attached to me. The figure I can never explain happened at my mother's house, a newly built residence in my small country hometown. I had just gone to bed, leaving the blinds open to allow a strong swath of moonlight across my duvet. Without any warning, the light was interrupted by a broad, cloaked figure with a hat. It was about 7 feet in height, draped in black, but with enough definition to show that the face was just a dark hollow. I felt no fear. In fact, there was no atmospheric change at all. I never saw this figure again, though I continued to experience a variety of things in different places and countries until one day it just stopped when I was around 25 years old. I have no idea why, wondering if anyone, A, had seen the cloaked figure, and B, had their experiences go from all the time to simply stopping. Much appreciate your response. Yeah. Has anybody, I'm sure there's been a lot of people that have had something happen in their life. So here's what I'm reading into this. This is what as I'm reading it, this is what's popping up into my head. When you were 20 years old, you were doing something that was drawing the paranormal to you, and or you were diving deep into the paranormal yourself. Whether you were doing it safely, whether you were doing it foolishly, I have no idea. But the reason you were having a lot of paranormal experiences visually, physically, and audibly was because you were open or had opened yourself or done something that had allowed this very, usually what's a closed door, to be opened, and for these entities to kind of come through and influence your life and influence you, and things that you were doing and things that you were experiencing and things that you were seeing. Who did you see? Boy, I got a name for him, but I don't know that it was him. But a tall, broad, cloaked figure with a hat, and you weren't scared of him.
It happens
But
every once in a while.
yeah, but he was just there. I'm going to say that there's a good possibility that was what we refer to as the Hat Man. Why was he there? Obviously, he could have been drawn into the fact of what you were doing when you were 20 years old and having all your experiences. So the fact you never saw this figure again does not surprise me in any way, shape, or form. I think that once he comes to visit, he accomplishes what he's there to accomplish when he's there. I don't think he needs to come back over and over and over again. And I think it's rare that he does. I don't think that I'm not going to say that he doesn't do it for some people, because he probably does. And we've read stories where he does. But overall, generally, does he come back repeatedly to the same people? No, I don't think he does. I think he comes and he visits you. And I think that whatever he's there for, whatever his time with you is for, he accomplishes what he's there for. I think he's that talented. I think he's that good at what he does. And I think that that's just the bottom line. I think he's very good at his job, and so you were having still kind of, your experiences and this and that. You were traveling. Obviously, your location wasn't haunted. You were haunted, because all of these hauntings and these things were happening to you, irregardless of where you were. Your mom's house, your friend's house, your flat, different places, a buddy's house, a girlfriend's house, different countries. You're traveling around. You're still experiencing paranormal things. You're haunted. You're the individual that's haunted. So everything is traveling with you at that point. It stopped abruptly when you were 25. I'm just speculating here, but I'm going to say when you were around 25, something happened in your life that was a major change. Whether you found religion, whether you uh, got baptized and had never been, whether you stopped doing what you were doing, whether you reestablished your own ground. Maybe you were dabbling in black magic. Maybe you were recklessly playing with Ouija boards all the time. And when you were 25, you were tired of what was happening to you, and so you took a stand. You had a moment. You said enough is enough, and you said it in such a way that that door that had opened was closed. And so the things that were bothering you, I was going to say terrifying you. I think that would probably be inappropriate because it doesn't seem to me that you were terrified. But the things that were bothering you, the things that were affecting your life are no longer there. So I think that something happened when you were around 25. Do people go from experiencing things all the time to suddenly stopping? Absolutely. There's a ton of reasons why that stuff like that happens. It doesn't have to always be religion. It doesn't always have to be the fact that you put your foot down. It just could be that they're not interested in you anymore. Maybe they found something better. They found somebody else to go to. Maybe what they wanted from you took them 5 years to get, and they finally got it. Maybe they stole a piece of you. Maybe part of your soul's gone. Maybe the direction you were headed is no longer on your plane anymore. Maybe it's gone. Maybe somehow they detoured your path, and where you were going to be is no longer where you're going to be. That you're going to be someplace else now because that path that you might have taken is no longer available to you. Things like that happen. I know that people are listening are going, Jesus, this guy's on a roll. I'm just being serious. All the experiences and all the stuff that I've learned and people I've interviewed and conversations I've had with people that have had experiences like that. I definitely think that if you're not careful, I definitely think that there's a strong influence from the other side, and I think they can influence what direction you go. So could that have happened? Maybe they accomplished what their goal was. I don't know. But the fact that it stopped when you were 25, it happened when you were 20, you had 5 years of torment. Think about it. Look back in your life. You're 40 years old. What did you do 15 years ago that was a huge moment in your life? And I think that will be your answer, honestly, without knowing much more about this other than what I just read. I think that the answer's there, but I think it's a self evaluation answer. I think you need to look back 15 years in your life and figure out what it was.
All right. Well, I will not. I will keep it short because Dave said the entire Bible. So here we go. Do I think that you probably saw the Hat Man? Yeah. I mean, of course. I honestly wonder if he's there to see what your reaction to him will be. Because everybody has a different reaction. Most people, yes, have like the fear and everything. Some feel comforted or that he's there to protect them. And then you have the people who are just, hey, look, there you are. And don't really feel anything at all. And I think once he got what your reaction to him was, off he went. Mm-hmm. And, didn't need to come back. So I think you're perfectly fine when it comes to him. Now, why did everything stop? Now, obviously, we talk a lot in the show about kids who, once they reach 7 or 8 or whatever, they stop doing that. And that is because they get told,
well, society directs their path.
Exactly. And it gets told, that's nothing and blah, blah, blah. And they shut those parts of them down.
Right.
You're obviously much later in life, so that's really not going to work. I do agree with Dave. You probably made some sort of decision in your life at that time that maybe you didn't know that doing so was going to shut this part of yourself down. Maybe you were trying to shut down something else. Maybe you had a heartbreak, or maybe you made the decision not to do drugs or to quit smoking. And so you cut off that part of yourself that included the supernatural part of you. It's still there. If you, for whatever reason, want it to come back, go see a medium, go see somebody who is trained in developing psychic abilities, and they will get it back. If you're perfectly happy and maybe just a little confused as to why it suddenly vanished, I would, like Dave said, I would agree that you probably made some sort of decision that, whether directly or indirectly, caused that to happen.
And I would let it be.
And I would let it be.
I wouldn't necessarily go digging it back up if it was tormenting you for 5 years. I don't know that I'd go try to open that box back up, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, if you're perfectly fine with it not being a part of you, leave it alone.
Right. So, good stories to tell at office parties and family gatherings. Wow. Do you remember that time when I was 22 and I levitated off the bed through the hallway?
No.
Oh
okay. God, no. We're moving on.
Yes, we are.
All right. Number 5, sage not seeming to work. Shocker. I burned sage and rosemary with all the windows open in my apartment and thinking good thoughts or intentions, but still seem to have quite a bit of negative energy lurking. There's something that looks like my oldest daughter. She's 4 with no eyes. And I see it out of the corner of my eye, sometimes during the day, but frequently during the nighttime. I'm not sure if she's the culprit, but it seems like she might be. What might I be doing wrong? So there is a lot more to saging with sage and rosemary than just having the windows open and thinking good thoughts. Like, there's more to it than that. Not only that, but from what I understand, you really don't want all your windows open. You want one window open or one doorway for you to throw everything out that one.
And you don't want to open it until you've moved through the rest of the house. So,
yeah. So
you want to move the energy where you want it to be, and then you open up the escape route type of thing.
The other thing is, and this is a huge misconception and misunderstanding about sage. Sage clears energy. It does not clear entities.
Right.
So if you just have some negative energy, maybe you move into a house and you're like, man, it feels really heavy because maybe they were smokers, maybe they were drug dealers, maybe it was a abusive husband or wife, whatever. And you just want to calm the energy down and maybe get some lighter energy, sage and rosemary will work. Mm-hmm. That is where you can go through the house. Sage does not remove entities, negative or thing. It may slow them down. You may have a week or two of peace, and then they're going to come back pissed off. So I agree with the whole saging and everything. If all you want to do is get rid of energy, if you're trying to actually get rid of an entity, you're going to need to call somebody else in, paranormal team, a medium. If you believe that this is some sort of religious type of an entity, call in a priest to give you a house blessing. Maybe if you're on Native American land, and this might have a native thing, call in a shaman. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things that you can do that sage is not going to do for you. And I think I think that's all I really have to say. I just think that people have a huge misconception of what sage actually does. And they should, I guess I don't know what's really on the internet for people to see when it comes to how to properly sage a place, or what it typically does. I don't think it's ever out there that's like, hey, if you want to get rid of a negative entity, sage a place. Like, nobody ever says that.
Oh, I'm sure if you dug around on YouTube, you could find some videos, but
not YouTube, Dave.
But whether that's the right thing to do or not is totally, that would be the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
YouTube paranormal tutorials make me even sadder than Christine Pope's books.
Yeah. Well. Sorry, Christine. I haven't read any of your books. That's Mike's opinion. So.
the opinions of the Odyssey Files and its hosts do not necessarily reflect, I don't know, the other one. Whatever, how that,
exactly.
whatever that disclaimer
however
is.
that goes, however that disclaimer goes. Oh.
But that's my answer.
Okay. So the fact that you're saging, obviously, to me, you're concerned. That's the first thing that I would pick up on here. There's something going on that you don't like. And so somebody told you, well, just get a bundle of sage and open up your windows and burn it, and think positive things when you're burning it. It's an attempt. It's a weak attempt. And it wasn't done properly. So educate yourself on how to sage a place, or find somebody who knows how to sage a place and have them come in and do it for you or with you would be even better, because it's your house. You need to establish that it's your house. All right. With the 1 minute we have before we got to go to break, if there's something in your house, if there was something in my house that looked like my 4-year-old daughter with no eyes, I'm telling you right now, sage would be the last thing on my mind. And especially if I'm seeing this thing frequently at any time of the day, I'm bringing in the priest from my background, from my religion. I'm bringing in whatever I can to get this entity out of the house, because anything that's mimicking your oldest daughter but showing itself in such a way that it's making you extremely uncomfortable is not there for a good reason. And that's going to lead into number 6 as we segue into Ken with this no eyes thing. But I'm saying, my personal opinion, it's showing itself to you. It's mimicking your daughter. It's making you feel uncomfortable. It's not good. And you need to get it the hell out before it does something to harm you or your kids.
Exactly. All righty. So we are going to go to our quick 2-minute break. And when we come back, we will have the great Kenneth Boggle. So excited. See you on the other side.
This is Susan Slaughter from Paranormal Caught on Camera, introducing you to the most epic show ever, the Odyssey Files with David Soyering and Michael O'Neill. You're welcome. Pew, 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 pew.
Hey, this is Grant Wilson from Ghost Hunters, and if you ever have time that you never want to get back, spend it listening to Mike and Dave on the Odyssey Files.
This is Heather Taddy of Paranormal State and Alien Highway. I can't say that the Odyssey Files are out of this world, but Mike and Dave are quite abductable.
Hey, this is Dustin Perry from Ghost Hunters, and you're listening to Dave and Mike on the Odyssey Files. It's not the best show you're ever going to listen to, but it's also probably not the worst.
This is Michelle Belanger, author of The Dictionary of Demons. What is faster than a speeding shadow person and more fun than an anal probe? It's Mike and Dave of the Odyssey Files. Hold on to your hats and buns.
This is Elizabeth Saint. You know, in my journeys I've confronted an over 1,000-year-old demon from the depths of Shepherdstown. But then, you know what happened? I came across Mike and Dave. And hot damn, nothing could have prepared me for the Odyssey Files. My second favorite radio show. I love you guys.
And we are back. So, without further ado, because I know he's been waiting patiently. He's not one for patience.
Mm-hmm.
He will leave if we don't bring him on here soon.
Yeah.
Which is justifiable. So, my very good friend, Mr. Kenneth Boggle, master of the tarot, and probably one of the best mediums I have ever come across in any of my travels. And just a goddamn good person to be around. So, without further ado, he's here, he's miserable, is Mr. Kenneth Boggle. Hello, Ken. How are you?
I'm fine.
Fuck.
You make me sound like a real bitch, but I am, so that makes sense. That makes total sense. We have to tell the people at home why I'm miserable, though. You have to tell them.
Well, so
first, it's allergy season in Kentucky, so I'm sitting here high off my ass on Benadryl. I could fall asleep at any moment. It's a narcoleptic. No, I can't say that. Be woke. I might fall asleep at any moment. And my air conditioner went out. I have no air conditioning, so I'm just sweating. Under this, there's nothing but like an ice bottle up under my business.
Nice. That's a visual. That's a hell of a visual there, Ken.
I'm doing the best I can with what I got.
Yeah. No. Hey. I'm with you.
No, you're not. You haven't.
I'm with you, like mentally. Yeah.
Mentally.
Gotcha. Not physically.
Thank God. You'd be so unimpressed.
Well, Ken, why don't you tell us how you really think about yourself?
I'm burning up. It's like with the bowels of hell over at my place.
I'm sure it's got to be what, like 82 in there?
Not in here. It's like, I don't know what temperature it is. In here, it's hot.
Okay.
And I was being really nice. We called the air conditioning guy on Friday, and he was like, I don't have time today. I was like, just get to me on Monday. If not, through the weekend, get to me by Monday. And he's not confirming our appointment tomorrow, so I might have to commit a felony. I might have to do something, because your boy likes it a cool 70 at 73 at the most. Other than that, it's over. I ain't doing it anyway. So I'm Ken Boggle. That's that.
That's a hell of a way to start the show. I think that's the most entertaining start of the show that we've had with you. Most unique. I'll give you most unique for sure.
Well, good.
Most unique start.
We love that.
Yes. So we want to start out with Dave has a story, because we did stories in the first hour, and I told you about this.
Mm-hmm.
Our last story is one that he would like your opinion on. And so just to keep it so it's not taking up a huge chunk of the show, Dave will read the story, and then we'll just have you answer. Dave and I will not throw in our opinions.
And I want your viewpoint on it, because it's something that in all the years I've been doing this, it's something that I have not come across. So it grabs my attention when I read this, and I'm like, this is a perfect segue since Ken's going to be on, to throw past Ken and see what his take is on it. Okay.
I love when people ask me for my opinions. Let's go.
All right, we're going. The black-eyed socket lady. I used to live in a very actively haunted house growing up, but that's a whole nother story. And as a kid, my parents didn't want me to be afraid, so if I saw things, they would just explain it in a calm way. Instead of talking of ghosts, it was explained to me that what I saw were just people who were no longer alive but wanted to visit us. Even as a young kid being told this, I was always afraid whenever I saw things that I knew weren't normal. However, one figure I saw in particular has always stood out to me. She was a woman in a bathrobe who would stand in my doorway and look at me before I went to sleep when I was a child. But where the eyes should be was just blackness, like empty black sockets. As horrifying as that description sounds, she wasn't scary. She gave a comforting feeling and would just smile at me, and the feeling I got from her was always very loving and protective, unlike the other things that I saw that immediately made me panic. As I got older, I no longer saw her anymore. I wondered why this particular apparition was the scariest in appearance, but made me feel so comfortable and loved somehow. I actually was a bit sad when she stopped checking in on me. Someone told me that spirits with the blacked out empty eye sockets meant that they had been murdered or taken their own life. I'm wondering if that has any truth to it.
So let me process that, because that's bizarre. What are your thoughts? Let me gather myself before I speak.
I just said Dave and I are throwing our opinions out there, and that's the first thing you asked for.
I have to have that.
I will. I'll give you a second here so you can kind of like bring your thoughts together. I am confused as to why an entity would show itself in what most people would consider a scary type of visual situation, yet somehow cast this guardian angel type of feeling, this protectorship type of feeling. I have never, in the 40 plus years that I've been involved in the paranormal, I have never, actually 50, but I have never run across somebody who has said, I saw this scary ass thing in my home that was there all the time, but it loved me and made me feel great inside. I've never seen that before. And so I thought, you know what? Is there any truth to this black-eyed socket of somebody being murdered? Is that why when we see an entity, is that a possibility that this is a murder victim or suicide victim? And maybe that's how they appear to us, and they don't have a choice as to whether or not they can show themselves with eyes or without eyes.
I mean, I don't know. I listen to that and I think like it's highly possible that she might have been with a dark entity that was trying to earn her trust. That's a possibility.
Yep.
In my sect of Buddhism, there's actually a spirit that is horrible and terrible, and they found a way to change in order to be protective and to care for others. And their appearance remained the same. They were still demonic in nature, but they changed to be able to like protect people. So there's and also you got to think about Japanese culture, where in other cultures where they have really intensely scary deities that serve as protection.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not without precedent, and it's not without some theological backing. But I've never heard of that. I've always heard I saw a black-eyed or a hollow-eyed entity and then, pissed myself.
Right.
That's what I've heard.
Right.
And that's been my experience.
Right.
And I peed a little when you said it, but I don't know. I don't know. I think that it in and of itself is wrought with peril. I think it's pregnant with possibilities of going wrong. So I say congratulations for not having, terrible spiritual repercussions of this entity being in your life. And it's a very rare case. But yeah, I would have to get in there and like read it. I'd have to get in there and read it. I'd have to be in the space. I would have to experience this entity for myself before I could really make any real judgment about it. But yeah, it's possible. Maybe, just maybe, this was a dark entity trying to do something positive. Maybe.
So I obviously do not know everything about the paranormal. There's still 1,000 things for me to learn, but I have never come across like the theory that the hollowed out black eye sockets mean that the person was murdered or committed suicide.
No, I haven't either.
So
I haven't heard of that.
Okay, well then I think that that's probably just bullshit. So,
well,
I mean, something you found on Google. Yeah.
I mean, just because we haven't heard of it before doesn't make it total bullshit. But
right.
It's a strong possibility that maybe that's a cultural aspect of their family, and that's how they explained it. I don't know, but yeah, it certainly isn't normal. That's for sure. That's not norm.
Well, okay, gotcha. Well then, now that
totally what I thought when I read it. I'm like, okay, I'm throwing this past Ken because this is something I haven't seen before, and this is totally not on my path of like where my brain is going. It's like the antithesis of where I was headed when I was reading it. Yeah, I'm thinking negative entity all the way.
I remember I've told this story twice today, which is weird. I remember being a kid and laying in bed, and there were entities that would circle my bed, and the last thing I felt was protected. Like,
right.
That's actually, that went on for 2 years before my grandmother finally got a hold of me and said, we have to fix this. So, I don't know. I don't know how you'd feel comfortable with that. I just don't get it.
No.
Yeah.
Depends on the person, I guess.
I'd like to see what they're like as an adult. I'd like to see who this person is and what they're like as an adult. I really would.
Scarred.
They'd have to be. They'd have to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, whether they bury that scar tissue or not, that's another story. But are they scarred? They're scarred.
Yeah. Like, is it the kind of person who watches The Exorcist and laughs? Do you know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. Oh, I saw that green vomit head spinning thing, but I saw it when it was real when I saw it. Yeah.
Like during an actual exorcism.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Of my mom. Yeah. No. I'm joking. It was a bad joke. No.
Did you see me emote?
Yes. Yes, I did. That's why I was closing that door before
That's
it went
terrible.
too far open.
I appreciate that.
Yes. You're welcome.
Yeah.
No.
Well, Ken, now that we've talked about vomiting and demonic stuff and black socket women,
Beans.
Yeah, beings. Exactly.
beans.
Black socket women. A new hit by Black Sabbath. Black socket women. I love it.
How are you? How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm doing all right. Busy, and I'm trying to get busier.
Exactly, and that's what we're here for.
Yeah, I'm trying to get busier. I really did not agree to even being on the program until Mercury was almost out of retrograde. And now that Mercury's out of retrograde, I'm doing my best to get busy.
Excellent. Well, you have an announcement.
Yeah, I have a pretty big announcement. So I opened KenBoggle.com. I own KenBoggle.com.
As you should.
I mean, right? Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The first site I had was after my business, Tarot by Ken LLC. So it was tarotbyken.com. And we've since let that go. We're just now trying to bring people into the whole world of Ken Boggle, of me. So there's all kinds of things you can do on the site. You can just get on there and you can go to readings. It tells you what the pricing is. It tells you why you should have readings, what they can do for you, then a little form you fill out to get the reading. And then you can go to bio and learn a little bit about Boggle. You can shop. Oh my God, you can shop.
Uh-oh.
How cool is that? So I have partnered with Moxie Malas. You know them very well.
I know Jessica very well, yes.
Yes, and her gorgeous family. They're all so freaking beautiful. I can't breathe. I got together with her and we pieced together the Boggle bracelet because clearly I love to wear bracelets. And she selected some stones. We went through them, kind of really created a bracelet that gives you the feeling of me being with you. So all the things that I try to do for people, which is like change negative energy into positive energy and try to protect against darkness, and how to kind of build your intuition. All that is in one bracelet, the official Boggle bracelet, and you can buy it now. And then we also picked 2 other bracelets. There's the full chakra, and then there's peace within, and they're fabulous. I love them. And so I've got this thing going with her to promote the Boggle bracelet and other things that I love that I've used for years. And then we're also partnering with a candle company so that you can buy candles that I use in my home, and you can take that with you.
Is there going to be a candle that's just Ken Boggle and it just has like the smell of you?
Maybe. Maybe. I don't see what's wrong with that.
I didn't say there was anything wrong with it either.
I smell amazing. No, but her, it's Purple Shadow Creations. Her name's Shelly Hughes. And she creates these amazing candles that are done with stones and herbs and various different intentions. And they all do something different. And I've burned them for years. And so I think they've done well by me. They could do well by the people at home. So stop by KenBoggle.com today.
Do you think that you might be able to add like the option of maybe somebody like playing like Space Invaders on your site?
Website?
Yeah, on your website.
Why?
Because you said you could do so many different things, and right away, I don't know, that flashed in my head. It's something I'd go to KenBoggle.com to do.
Well, no.
All right. Fine.
No, but there's new tabs coming. Like we're going to do a tarot course masterclass where you can like actually buy classes, go to the site, log on, and that's a million years from now. That makes my brain drain from my ears. I don't know how that's accomplished, But we're going to add that. We're going to add some media stuff like videos and like pictures and things like that. Then there's just the other day I added the appearance and events page, so you can come see me in person. I thought that was pretty cool.
It is, absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to know when I can score the sexy as hell Hugh Hefner smoking jacket that you're wearing.
Oh, this is actually a kimono, and we wore it in
Kimono, smoking jacket, whatever. You were just smoking, so
there. Yeah, well, yeah, of course. I'm a terrible nicotine addict. Anyway, this is Mama Kim's, and she has already threatened my life if she doesn't get it back.
Uh-oh.
But I've had it in my possession for like 7 or 8 months now, and it's no holes. It's all fine. Like, she's trusting me with we call it the roses. So
Yeah.
I've got the roses. We're good. We're in good shape. But yeah, it's a fabulous little number. I think you can get it at like Lane Bryant or like some kind of plus sized women's boutique. I think
there's your next partnership.
Oh, Ken does Lane Bryant. Boggle and Bryant. We love that.
Boggle and Bryant for the Rose Komodo.
Yeah, full-sized beauty.
Right. Perfect.
There you go. We love it.
We're adding to your website as we talk.
Right. Just throwing out creative ideas for money.
If we could find a place that made kimonos to my specifications, you can bet your bottom that I'd have it. I'd definitely do it.
Well, I think that could be your second website, bathrobeboggle.com.
Oh, but then there's a second business I plan to open. So there's going to actually be
Is there going to be Bathrobe Boggle?
There might be bathrobes involved. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Is it going to be a bed and breakfast?
No, it's going to be another shopping opportunity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so people come.
Well, that's a shame because you would be a great bed and breakfast host. I'm just saying.
I've already done it.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, and I was.
Well, I never got to stay there. You never said, "Hey, Dave, I got a great bed and breakfast. You should come over. Check us out."
I guess that's why I put it on my Facebook, just to make sure everybody knew they were welcome. I guess.
And yeah, throughout the promotions and the videos, every single week.
It was my fault.
No, not at all. I don't judge you for it because it was during COVID, right? Who opens a business during COVID?
Was that the house in Kentucky that you were staying at? The bigger mansion thingy that you were working on? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It was in the historic area of the state capital, Frankfurt. And it was a really intense experience. I would do just about anything to get a paranormal team in there and investigate it. It's really interesting.
I volunteer.
Sweet.
Yeah. I don't live there anymore, but yeah, there you have it.
Right.
Well, one phone call from you, and I'm sure they'd let us in.
Oh, well, the owners and I are still very good friends, and they've opened a new business called Earth Alchemy there in Frankfurt, and they still rent the house out. In fact, there's actually, as you go up the staircase, there's a hole in the above you as you go up the staircase where I was carrying a bed and put a hole through the plaster. And they were like, "We open this weekend. We don't have time to replaster this historic ceiling." So I grabbed a Sharpie and I autographed it. We put a frame around it. We labeled it hole number 1. And nice. I never put another hole in there, so that's kind of ridiculous. But anyway, now you can go see the whole Boggle made.
The Boggle hole.
Well, if the place is for rent, the investigation is a shoo-in.
Yeah.
Unless
absolutely.
there's something in the clause of like the rental agreement that says you're absolutely not allowed to investigate this in a paranormal fashion.
No, but there is a caveat that the owner wants to make sure that whatever doors are opened are closed.
Are closed, yeah. Makes sense.
Before we leave. And
Right.
she also wants to make sure that our findings are kept to
On the down low,
confidential.
Confident. Yep. Confidential, so that people who are there that aren't paranormally minded might do as these people did with some of the stories you told, which is just be like, "Oh, well, that was this kind of situation." That they kind of can explain it away. She doesn't want to alienate a group of people just based on what we find. So yeah,
Makes
and
sense.
I respect that. It's a business.
Absolutely.
Do what you got to do. Yeah,
I do too.
Absolutely. So, Ken, you're doing readings again.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what are some of the reasons that people come to you for readings?
Heartbreak, work, money, anxiety, depression, loss, grief, personal struggles. Like they have a hard time seeing their situations clearly, so they want somebody who's like a friend that they can trust to talk to them straight and say, "Here's what I see. Here's the details of it, and here's what we can do to change it." Because that's what I do with tarot. I don't just look at it and think like, "Here's your predictions." My gift is that I see what the predictions are, what the predicament is, and I don't leave you in vague drama and go, this is just what it is. I help you spin it, because every bad situation is a great opportunity to live to your highest potential. I believe that. So I try not to have someone leave a reading without real resolve. They have solutions, they have plans, they have advice or homework, and it does very, very well. Really well.
That's like a great t-shirt. Like
Is
your
it?
thought, like that's like a great statement across the front of a t-shirt with like your signature at the bottom of it. Seriously.
Which part? By the way, you're getting no royalties, but which part?
I don't remember what I said. I've been having these issues lately where my mind's escaping me.
What I have, we're working on merchandise now, and what we've come up with so far is I have a really great tendency to hashtag things that make no sense. And I find it funny when people are not technically or technological or not tech savvy, and they try to be. I find that humorous. It's almost in the way that I like men who are over 40 to do rap from the 90s. I find it funny. I just find it funny. And I do it ironically. And so I have these hashtags that just make no sense, like hashtag I hit the snooze button 6 times today. Nobody's going to search that hashtag. Nobody's going to do that. Or hashtag mind your own business. I'll cut my grass when I want to. Nobody's going to. But I find it funny. So our t-shirts right now are screen captures of my tweets that have these absurd. And then on the back is a QR code. And then what becomes the Ken Boggle logo, which is being worked on right now. The Ken Boggle logo.
Great.
Yeah.
As funny as I find that, I don't think that's going to sell very well.
I think it's unique enough.
Yeah.
I think it's unique enough because it's a conversation piece. Because people will wear it.
Well,
a lot of people wear stuff to bring out conversations.
Right.
Whether it's you look very alluring in that, or what the hell punk look are you going for, and you're 58 years old, or whatever, or whether you're dressing like a rapper and you've got the gold chain and the huge clock around your neck and you're walking around and you're 42 years old.
I love that.
Well, right. Because I mean,
I'm going to get that look. I want that.
There you go. That was a great look years ago. Bring it back.
If there's anything that we know society hates, it's conformity.
Yeah.
So everybody,
we hate conformity.
I'm being sarcastic, Ken.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, our group of people hate conformity.
I was going to say we hate conformity, but yeah.
And then you think of never mind. I can't say that. Rail it in.
Reel it in.
No, I'm going to do it anyway. Anyway, I'm going to do it. And then you have the state of Florida that just thinks that everything should be the way it was in 1908, and they want I'm sorry, but that's a fucking problem. And that's not my audience, so fuck them. I just think like this: everybody is born with an individual personality and their own style and their own look at life. And sometimes the quirkier the better. And that's where I live. That little space of like, yeah, it's a shirt, you can wear it anywhere, but it is a little quirky. It is a bit different, He's a great guy, but he wears a bowler hat. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
It's unique. It's a conversation piece.
Florida just canceled me. It's a thing.
That's okay.
Let's see who else I can upset.
Russia loves us.
No, they're the only ones that blocked us when we.
They blocked us because Mike threw out a clip, and they were like, "Oh, that's copyrighted."
Yeah.
Oh,
You can't do that. So Russia
I
blocked us on our YouTube channel.
I played the first intermission we ever did. I played an old Odyssey Hour intermission where Rick rolled people, but I took it off of Ghostbusters theme song, and by Ray Parker Jr. And I got, when I uploaded it to YouTube, I got a message from them saying that some countries had blocked us because of it. And when I went to look at who the countries were, it was just one, Russia.
Yeah,
that's
nice going. There goes our whole Russian contingency.
Yeah, that's a big one to piss off. I'll tell you
that's
that.
a big market.
That's a yeah. No comment.
Well, it's cold there. I mean, what else do they have to do besides sit around and listen to paranormal talk radio?
Hate on the gays, I guess. Damn it!
Well,
See, we gotta switch. We can't
or just
do this.
or just go slaughter the Ukrainians.
Stop! I can't. We gotta switch gears.
All right, here we go. So,
oh my god!
In order, in order to promote and show people just how good you are at your readings, because we hear you've done readings for me many times, and they've always been amazing. But that's, people can't take my endorsement, my word of mouth, whatever, or they could see what you are live in action.
Okay.
So you agreed. At least I hope you did.
Was this when I had air conditioning? Is this when I had air conditioning?
Yes, this was in your right mind. Yes.
Christ.
Yep. So you have agreed to give Dave and myself 1 question readings.
1 question each?
Yes, 1 question each, Ken.
All right.
Get in your zen.
Who's first?
Mike.
Oh, I was going to have you go first, but okay.
No, mine's way more in depth than yours is. So
that is true.
Okay. Hit me.
All right.
Let's have it.
All right. Since this is I'm going through a lot of transition and some changes and everything, and pretty much all or most of it. So I've gotten your opinions. I've gotten other people's opinions. What I would like to know is what messages do my spirit guides have for me? Because I have actually come to trust them. Like they have my best interests at heart. They help me all the time, whether consciously or unconsciously. And I would just like to know if they have anything that they would like me to consciously be able to think about.
Okay. Breathe deep.
By the way, while he's shuffling, Julie, that's a great idea for a shirt. I'm just not quite sure that you could sell that to the general public.
Yep.
I like the look on his face when he sees a card come up. He's like, "Oh!"
I know. I make fun of him for that all the time.
He totally gives the race. Like, "Oh, look at that! Oh, look at that one."
Yeah, because the reality is that I'm reading the cards as I lay them down, so that by the time I've made the spread, I already know what I'm talking about. For the most part, it's rare that I sometimes have to sit back and puff on my vape and like have a moment, but I still do it. It's rare though. Spirit guides are saying to you, Michael, that emotionally nurturing yourself is essential, that action is needed and new approaches are needed to how you handle your emotional self, including things you're going through and things that you have gone through already. So it's important to kind of do a little cleaning in that department of your emotional self. Also to work closer with your spirit guides to continue to trust them is very positive. I kind of went back when I saw exactly how that card fell, because you were just saying before I was talking that you were beginning to trust your spirit guides. So continue building that relationship. Strength and courage are needed. learn to battle your internal beasts, your own self that's maybe the lesser self. Learn what that is, learn how it manifests, and do some struggling with that. Manhandle it. The card's called Strength. It's a major arcana card where the maiden is shutting the mouth of the lion. And it's just a sign that we have to have the strength and courage to battle ourselves in the spread that I'm doing now. That's what the meaning is. Also, be on the lookout for new great adventures. Take what you've learned from everything in the past and start looking at what you can do in the future. That's illustrated by the Fool. I think the nature about how you go about that, being the Nine of Wands, is to understand that we, like great made timepieces, take a licking and keep on ticking. You know, I think that's some fantastic advice for all of us, really. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. I appreciate.
Did you want fireworks to shoot from my ears like that?
It was Mike's question. I didn't want to be rude and interrupt, so I'm sorry if you feel deflated that I didn't like jump up and down. I was waiting for Mike to respond.
We all were.
I just wanted.
He just was sitting there staring at you like dumbfounded. So
I just wanted to make sure that you were done. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Ta-da!
See, if you would have ended it with ta-da, I would have known.
From now on.
Are you ending mine with ta-da so I know when I can appropriately react?
Absolutely, we will, for sure.
I just want to know what the segue hot button is. That's all. I don't want to jump in too quick. So.
No, I understand everything that they're saying. It's tough though to, I guess, continue to build my relationship and my trust with the spirit guides, simply because everything that I get, I'm just like, oh, that must have been, them helping me or whatever. It's just, I guess that just is going to come in time. Like, there really doesn't seem to be anything that I can do to speed things along or to jump it up a notch. It seems to be like on their timetable, in their way of doing things.
I think that's needed for you. I think there should be something that you have no control over. There should be some timeline that you have no say in. I think being vulnerable in that way is the proper way to do exploration of spirit and self. Ta-da!
That's not the answer he wants, because he can't give give the power to, you know what I'm saying? He can't be vulnerable to do that. And as your friend, obviously, I don't mean that in a bad way, but I know you well enough, and knowing each other for the last decade, that you like to be in control and that you do not like to be in a vulnerable position.
See, that's where you're wrong. Don't get me wrong. I like to be a leader.
Like to be in control.
I like to be in a leadership position, but I don't necessarily need to be in control as much as I just need to know what is going on.
Well, for example, your friend just made a comment about a tarot card reading that was his perspective, and you had to control the tone of how that was received.
Right.
But he was talking.
He doesn't realize he's doing it.
He was talking about me, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying it was just his takeaway. But I think for you, it's very good for you to have a relationship where somebody does it on their own time. It's good exercise for you because you need it. You need it.
What are you trying to say?
No, of course not.
No, not exercise.
You're just saying it's a good exercise for you. I don't like
mental exercise, good, emotional exercise,
and a good spiritual exercise.
Right.
For me, I have to struggle with patience. I have fucking patience. I can't. I hate it, but you have to have it. I'm getting better at it. I also have to learn how to watch my mouth. And that's good exercise for me too.
Especially on a radio show.
I'm sorry. It's all
right.
It's only 3 F-bombs. We're allowed 5.
Oh, okay.
So
and I'll stop.
Yeah, I was going to say, so you're fine. I mean, when you get to the 4th, then you'd really got to be on tender ground. But
we'll have to wave the flag.
Okay. Yeah.
Chime
Yeah.
the bell.
It's just, but
Ding.
see, it's a good exercise for me to
Right.
to moderate my vocabulary. You know.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Your turn, Dave.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Thank
well,
you.
Mike's not done yet.
No, I just want to say thank
Oh.
you.
You're welcome, babe. Always my pleasure. Always.
Okay, so mine's a little deeper than that. I'm going to start off with this. Years ago, you were going to read me on the show, and what you read you were uncomfortable with talking about on the show. You said that you wanted it to be more, it was more of a private conversation that we would have, which actually never materialized because things went awry and you were going your way and I was going my way, and we never really met up for that conversation. So, so that's really the only time that you have read me, that I've been open and kind of been in a position where I've I don't want to say allowed you to read me, but invited you to read me. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I've had some things happen recently, and since my accident, as everybody who knows me knows, I've been in a very dark place, and I've had a lot of dark stuff happen ever since the accident, ever since my spinal injury. So recently, things have taken a turn, and they really shouldn't be taking a turn, because I've had this kind of, I won't get into it, but this health issue that put me in the hospital, and I had no idea where I was. And to me, that's like not going in the right direction. But for some reason, I feel like I've made some sort of transition and things are a lot lighter. And so my question for you is, do I feel lighter because I'm getting to my end of days and I'm having this joyous moment? Or do I feel lighter because something really has changed and somehow I've let go of that brick that was put around my neck 3 years ago?
Okay, so one of the things I'm really known for is being flat out honest.
I'm a blue collar kind of guy, you know that.
Okay, so
or if you don't, you do now.
The reality is, don't scratch that door. You got a moment of levity, or is that the word? Hell if I know.
Yeah,
you have a
levity
moment
would be
of
right.
reprieve.
Right, reprieve from the pain and the emotional distress and everything else that's been going on for 3+ years.
Don't ask why, just keep going. Don't ask why, just keep going. Because here's the thing, sometimes life throws things at us and we get so caught up in how negative it gets and we try to kind of really sort of bob and weave with it. We get comfortable with that bob and weave. We have to figure things out ahead of time. We have to understand it and dissect it and analyze it. And then when we get that moment of reprieve, we have to analyze it and understand it, and because we want it to keep going. So really what I would encourage you to do is find moments in your day of gratitude that you stay in until you reach that level of lightness, and find a way to consistently do that every single day, that will allow you to maintain that life state. Now, when one does this, it changes the chemical and the structures of the brain that will create what do they call neural pathways that allow this kind of thinking to be more consistent. And when one does that, they are able to look at what at one point upset them, challenged them, or presented itself as an obstacle in a positive way, in a way that's more thank God that happened, like it, or they're such at a level where they're unshakable. And they kind of look at opportunities like that as opportunities. So my thing to you would be, find great joy in the gratitude that things have gotten better, understanding that life will always be a roller coaster. Keep that joy no matter what dip and turn the roller coaster takes. Mike will tell you, I hate a roller coaster. I really do. But like in life, that's what we face. That's what we're faced with. And it's our job as spiritual beings having a human experience to learn how to deal with that roller coaster evenly, so that we're able to see it clearly and respond in a more positive way.
Okay.
Ta-da. Yeah. But what I will say to you is when we're done here, message me tomorrow and we'll find a time to read you privately, because that sounds very heavy and that sounds very intense, and we'll set aside 30 minutes or something to figure that out. Okay.
Appreciate it.
Until then, just enjoy the fresh lightness of it all.
I am. Just so you know, I am. I have embraced the light, and I have grasped it, and I'm running with it.
Good.
I'm just, like I said, I'm just curious. Is this, and like you said, I won't go there anymore. So don't mess with what's happening.
Yeah, don't scratch the door.
It's a gift.
It is a gift.
It's a gift, because after 4 years, almost 4 years of darkness, it's a gift. But I don't understand why it showed up. And so I guess with all of my background and everything, I'm grateful for it. I don't need to have an answer. I don't need it, but it's really the question that's in the forefront of my life right now. And since we're having this moment together, is there really a question that I want an answer for? Really, that's the only question that in my life right now that I feel like I would like an answer for. Is it a gift from something that I should really be like, holy shit, somebody really stepped up and did something for me on the other side, that I don't understand, and I need to understand that so I can appreciate them or that or whatever you want to label it as giving me this? Or is it something I did that I'm completely unaware of because I'm cognizant of what I do, and I really haven't had any major life changes lately that I could categorize as, well, I started doing this and now I've got these positive results. I have not had that moment. So I'm just curious where this bountiful basket of light came from.
What I would do is I would find ways to, first, as you are, appreciate the light.
Yep.
The second is I would show gratitude outwardly, in hopes that whatever universal cause and effect occurred, you're grateful for it. Or if there was some spiritual or great deity intervention,
right,
your gratitude out toward it all will affect those aspects.
Okay.
And then you yourself just live a life that continues to promote causes, or live your life in a way that creates causes that promote that effect.
Okay.
Really. Yeah. So like, and I'm terrible at this, but I find this is going to be very simplified. I find that I'm very happy when I weigh less. I find I'm very happy when I don't have so much back pain. And the one thing I could do to promote more of that is to put in a cause of exercise, So it's just a simplified way of saying, put in the causes to create better effects, because the ultimate and only real true law, as I understand it in the universe, is everything you do plays out.
Right.
So for you, your responsibility is just to play into the good of it in a consistent, concrete way and receive the best you can receive, and to be grateful through the whole thing.
As I am. I'm a humble man.
I'm not at all. I try to be.
I still love you.
I love you too. Thank you.
So,
yeah. But there's some good spiritual advice.
Absolutely.
Says the humble man.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, you didn't even have to draw your cards for that.
No, also, I think the thing was that I was already so on that when you were talking, my spirit guide was already
kind of knew the conversation was coming.
Yeah, she was already kind of in it. But me as a person, take out all the psychic, metaphysical, mystic aspect, I'm happy for you. Really, truly happy for you.
Thank you.
Because I know things, I know how dark things can get.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And speaking of which, my book is being finished. Like, we're probably months away from being able to shop it. So everybody at home can see just how bad life gets and what you can do to make it better.
being Ken Boggle, right?
Becoming Ken Boggle.
Becoming Ken Boggle.
Yeah.
Look forward to an advanced
Do we
autographed
get I was
copy.
going to say, do we get autographed copies?
Absolutely. You can get.
Okay.
You'll be able to purchase those through the shop
Okay.
feature of KenBoggle.com.
No,
Fair enough.
no.
As long as it's autographed,
Yeah.
as long as it's personalized,
Yeah.
I'm on it.
No. As your friends, we need advanced, free autographed copies.
Yeah. Well,
In the exquisite leather bound edition.
sure. and people in hell want ice water, but I mean,
Yeah, they do. Yep.
You don't know that? Maybe they don't want ice water.
Just speaking for my own self, my ice is melted, and I'm ready for more ice water. Just for me. In the hell I find myself.
In the hell you find yourself in currently.
Well, too flippin' bad. So
yeah.
All right. So would you be open to if somebody in the audience has a question?
One more.
All right.
I'll
If
do
anybody,
one more,
if anybody who is listening live has a question for Ken, go ahead and throw it into the chat. While that's happening, and whether it happens or not, I don't know. But I have a question for you.
Okay.
That has nothing to do with readings.
Okay.
So you have, I mean, and I know this for a fact, you have traveled a lot just in your life in general. You have investigated with the celebrity, the quote unquote celebrities for the TV shows. You've investigated with countless numbers of paranormal teams over the years, including mine. And just people in general, at events and stuff like that. Now, usually I ask people how they feel the nature of paranormal TV is going. But my question to you is not so much limiting it to paranormal television and what it's doing for the paranormal field in these days, but how do you feel about the paranormal field in general? Is it going in the right direction? Could it use some upgrades? Some things need changing? How do you feel about the nature of the paranormal in general?
I think like this. We need to stop being cookie cutter. I'm saying this with all the hopes in the world that I don't offend anybody, but here we go. Not everybody. Let me try my best. Don't use any F words, Boggle.
Yep.
Keep it together. Not everybody should go out, buy a big bunch of black t-shirts, get all the tattoos, work out, and think they're going to be a Tennessee wraith chaser. Not everybody needs to perpetuate a toxic. No, got it.
Bring it back.
We all need to allow paranormal groups to do what they do and learn from them what we learn from them, enjoy from them what we can, and what we disagree with, keep our mouth shut. We got to stop judging each other. If we want to really perpetuate the conversation of consciousness does not die when the human body does, then we need to be open with each other and work with each other. Because the paranormal groups, which is why I never joined one, for the most part, are very toxic with one another. They judge each other's work to the nth degree, which only makes them look bad and makes the people they're judging look bad, and it makes the whole group look bad. When people talk about paranormal unity, where is it? Even some of the celebrities, here I go, even some of the celebrity, I can't stop it, that I've worked with, they are some of the snarkiest, I haven't said assholes, so here you go for that, assholes I've ever met in my life. And they judge each other to such a degree. And for example, I was told by one of these individuals that I was not important enough to be at a VIP party. I mean, how is that cultivating unity? How is that cultivating kindness? how is that even cultivating a moment of proper manners? You know,
It's not at all.
It's not. It's not. So, do I think that we're heading in the right direction in research? Yes, because tools are getting better. We're getting smarter. We're no longer looking at orbs, dust particles, and thinking they're human spirits interacting with us. We're no longer doing that. We're growing in that way. I think that the overall acceptance in society has grown. That's positive. But I think we ourselves are not being kind to each other. And it really distresses me, because if this were high school, we would all be the weirdos who were ostracized by everybody else. And here we are ostracizing each other. It's not okay. And it has to stop. We have to make room for new voices, new tools, new techniques, new procedures. And if you don't like them, then don't do them. You know, don't do them. Just keep your mouth shut about it. It's what Betty Davis said. I was just listening to the Betty Davis biography. Just keep your mouth shut about it. No one cares, you know, but do try to learn from each other. It's important.
Gotcha. All right. So we have a question from DW off of YouTube who is watching. He says, Ken, if you had never started doing tarot, what do you think or hope you would be doing with your life at this point in time?
I would be playing tambourine for Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac doesn't exist anymore.
Well, they do.
They do.
Legacy tour. Yeah.
So sad. Is that happening?
It I don't know, but it probably will. But you know, they're pushing their late 60s, 70s now, and when you get rid of your front man, and then you think you can replace him with some wannabe, you really cut your own throat, in my opinion.
Well, that was sad. And then you lose Christine McVie. Anyway, honestly, I think if I wasn't doing tarot, I would probably be in a salon somewhere selling shampoo like I have for up 10 years. I would hope, if my whole life were different, if I had it all to live over, I probably would have tried to have been a cosmetologist, maybe. I think I would have made a hell of a lawyer. I think I would never have been a doctor, but I think I would have done something, you know, very 9 to 5, and drive a nice little sedan and, you know, suit and all that other bull. See how I watch my mouth there? I'm growing. I'm learning. I'm evolving.
You're evolving. Thank you.
No, but yeah, I would probably be in a salon somewhere.
In 53 minutes, baby.
I know. It can be done. It can be taught.
Virtual hug, buddy.
But you have to say to yourself, you know, if Tina Turner hadn't met Ike Turner, she would be a nurse right now.
Right.
If Stevie Nicks didn't get with Lindsey Buckingham, she would be a teacher or a dental hygienist.
Right.
So yeah, for me, I think, thank God I have sacrificed and struggled and lost all that I have to be where I'm at, because things are finally starting to work out so that I can live what I think is my full passion in making people's lives better by shuffling a deck of cards.
It's just a tool to communicate your gift.
Yeah.
Is what the cards are. So I mean, I hope that you don't like put your entire gift into the just shuffling cards. I mean, you do way more than just that.
I got a quick question for you, because you mentioned cards and we only got a couple minutes left. We have, in the past couple of months, it has come to light that people are throwing tarot cards into the same closet as Ouija boards, and that they're to be deathly afraid of, and they're dangerous, and don't use them, and blah, 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 blah. Somebody who is very experienced in the world of tarot, do you think that that's an accurate reflection of what a deck of tarot cards can do? Or do you think it's just a deck of cards, and until you put your intentions into it, it really is just that? Because that's how we feel about Ouija boards. If I could put a Ouija board in my house and let it sit there for 100 years and never have a negative experience. But if I throw my intention to it and leave that door open, God knows what's going to happen.
I think that this is nothing new. I think, as the Warrens made it very clear, anything that is related to divination or spirit communication, occult, they've always lumped them together as evil. I think it's all about being with a person who can properly use that tool and has a priority of your spiritual safety in mind. I think that anything can be used for negativity until you put your intention behind it. Look at social media. I think that tarot is not any more dangerous than a litter box. If it's done with the right person, it can actually add to your spiritual health. It can actually add to your relationship with God or the universe or spirit itself. And I think that that's probably what I'm going to be known for, deculting and demystifying in the tarot. I think that's what I'll probably be known for.
Excellent. So one more question. Well, I mean, probably will be one more question. This one comes from Julie. How do I know if I have a spirit guide? How do I communicate with it if I do?
No, I know her.
Yes, you do.
How do I know her?
You did a reading for her.
Minnesota. I'm in Minnesota. Yeah. Hi, Julie. We all have spirit guides. We all have a spirit guide, lost loved ones, ascended masters, protective deities that we don't see. We all have those. You have one connection with the spirit guide. Those are what once was a living being who you've made a soul contract with to get you through from situation to situation. The way you engage with them is to first. I don't want to prescribe it over a thing because people are going to try to do it on their own, and it is also inherently sketch and dangerous. But the thing is, you have to understand who the guide is, how they communicate with you, what their purpose is in their journey and yours. You have to discover that, and for that, get a reading with Ken Boggle at kenboggle.com.
No, that is the best piece of self-promotion I've heard in months. I just got to say.
Thank you. I think like having a connection with your spirit guide in the spiritual world is also can be dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. So get with a professional and have them help you. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
that's an excellent answer to an excellent question. So
agreed. That was a great question.
Even though you kind of already answered this in your little mini promo there, since we're near the end of the show, if anybody would like a reading with you, if anybody would like to communicate with you in whatever fashion, how would they go about doing that?
Well, now you can go to kenboggle.com, and I just downloaded, because I'm now becoming tech savvy, a little thing that allows me to get messages in real time when it's sent to the website. So there's a little widget at the bottom of kenboggle.com where you can ask questions in the moment. And if I'm not off work and I'm actually present, I will answer those in the moment. But you just go to readings, go to the readings tab. It'll take you to the readings page, scroll to the bottom, fill out the form, comes to my email. And then there's the contact page where you click it and takes you to how you contact me. kenboggle.com. It's the new thing.
BOGGLE. Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep. So, thank you, Ken, for coming on. I really appreciate it. I am sorry that your air conditioning is not working.
I am sweating like Nixon. My thighs are
sweaty.
Yeah.
So that does it. Without further ado, again, thank you, Ken, for coming on. Dave and I will be back next week with another new episode. If you would like to send in your stories or questions, OdysseyFilesRadio@gmail.com, or just a direct message on our Facebook page. Like and subscribe, because every week is amazing, because Dave and I humbly are amazing.
We dig deep. We dig deep, and we don't powder coat. And I can be completely honest when I say this. I don't powder coat anything.
That's right. I'm going to tell you
exactly. I'm going to tell you exactly what my thoughts are. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think. And love me, hate me, whatever, man. That's right. Just the way it's going to be.
That's right. So for all of us here, everybody stay healthy, stay safe. Want to see you back here next week.